Hi, I'm Sarah from Knitting-and.com, and today I'm going to show you how to invisibly sew closed a soft toy after you've finished stuffing it. You'll need a small sharp needle and thread. Your thread should match the section of the toy that you're sewing, but today I'm going to use a contrast thread so that you can see what I'm doing. When you thread your needle, don't tie a knot in the end. Knots can come undone. They can pull through the fabric if it's pulled particularly tight, and they generally don't last as long as the technique that I'm going to show you. Put your needle in through the front or back of your doll. It doesn't matter where, it won't show once you start stitching, and you want the needle to come out at the end of your seam. Pull it through until you can just see the end of the thread there. We'll hide that later on. To stop your seam from coming undone and to anchor the thread, you want to do 3 tiny little stitches on top of each other. I'm just doing the last one. Now before you stitch any further, you want to make sure that your seam allowance is tucked under. You'll be stitching along the original stitching line. So I'm just going to turn my doll over so that I can show you better on the video. Now, I've got my first little stitch here where I anchored the thread. Now I want to come across to the other side and take one small stitch. I'm going to show you that again a bit closer. Go across to the opposite side from where you are and make a tiny little stitch in the seam line. My thread's insisting on tangling here. There we are. Now this stitch is called ladder stitch, as you can see. It makes a tiny little rung across, just like a rung on a ladder. That will disappear when you pull it tight. Now come back to the other side again and make a tiny little stitch and pull it tight. And as you pull it tight, you can see that your stitches will all disappear. And if you've used a thread that matches, you won't be able to see that. So keep doing that all the way along. A tiny stitch from one side, one tiny stitch from the next side, and after every 2 or 3 stitches, pull it tight. I'm just going to finish this seam and then I'll show you how to finish it off at the end. So there's my finished seam. As you can see, even though I've used a contrasting coloured thread, you can barely see any of those stitches. To finish off, you just do 3 little stitches on top of each other, the same way as you did to start. Two, three, and cut the thread. To hide this thread from when you started, you just squash your doll a little bit, trim it off, and when you let go, pull it up a little, and it's completely hidden. If you need to add any more stuffing while you're sewing this closed, you can add it at any time. And that is how you sew a toy closed using ladder stitch.